So what actually happened, President Obama did the right thing for Chelsea Manning. The Hill reports here, President Obama on Tuesday commuted the prison sentence of former Army soldier Chelsea Manning. Manning was convicted in 2013 of leaking classified information about U.S. national security activities that were later disclosed by WikiLeaks. The 35-year sentence Manning received was the longest ever imposed for a leak conviction. Manning has already served 7 years of her sentence and will now be released on May 17th, 2017. She was originally set to be released in 2045. So this was part of a batch of 209 commutations and 64 pardons. And what's interesting about this is you see the partisan hacks on both sides of the aisle don't know what to do with this information. So as of today, as of right now, you have the Democratic Party, Democratic loyalists despise WikiLeaks, despise Julian Assange. So they're caught between, well, okay, Chelsea Manning, she gave the information to Julian Assange and WikiLeaks ran with it, and we used to think that they were heroes for doing that. Now we despise WikiLeaks because they released information on Hillary Clinton that was true, the emails, the DNC emails, the Podesta emails that were true. So what do we do? I don't know. I'm so confused. When there's no clear-cut partisan answer and the signals cross, the hack loyalists just shut down because they don't know how to act. So some of them did an about-face, and now all of a sudden they pretend, oh, WikiLeaks, we love WikiLeaks. I don't know what you mean. We agree with President Obama on this because by definition we agree with him on everything because we don't think for ourselves because we're idiots. There's those people, and then there's the people who are like, oh, damn it, Obama released Chelsea Manning. I didn't want him to release Chelsea Manning. And as Glenn Greenwald tweeted earlier today, I don't know which one is worse. Which one is worse? The ones who do an about-face because their dear leader said, yeah, we're going to free Chelsea Manning, or the ones who stick to their guns and say, yeah, no, fuck people who reveal information that we should know in a democracy and what's supposed to be a free country. And they release information that, by the way, what Chelsea Manning released led to the original drawing down of the Iraq War. I was going to say end of the Iraq War, but we went right back in afterwards, so it's not really ended. But it led to drawing down of massive numbers of troops in the Iraq War. Because one of the things that Chelsea Manning revealed was that our soldiers killed people who were civilians, and then they did a double tap on them when the first responders came to help them, bombed them too, and then you could hear them talking about it like, hey, was that, were those bad guys? Were those terrorists? Or, and everybody's like, I don't know. Isn't that funny? Massacring civilians is hilarious. So she released that, and she was like, oh my God, everybody needs to see this. This is not what the United States of America should be doing. And then we were able to have a debate about, oh my God, so sometimes we're just the bad guy. And here's a case of that. And it was a brave thing to do. It was a heroic thing to do. And we needed that information. We need to know what our government is doing with our money in our name. And the only reason they would say something like that should be hidden is because they're embarrassed about how shitty they are. But that's not a good enough reason to say we're going to keep this from the public. So what? The government should be able to hide anything that they've done that they think is embarrassing? By that logic, we'd never know about a million things. We never know about Bay of Pigs. We never know about what happened in Vietnam. But again, I say that, but these are things that they tried to hide. So Gulf of Tonkin, you name it. So that's why you had Daniel Ellsberg, and that's why you had the release of the Pentagon Papers. And we learned that, in Vietnam, we're using Agent Orange chemical weapons, and we're massacring innocent villagers, women and children. And that's terrorism. So we released it, he released it, and at the time, what did people say? Oh my God, a fucking terrorist. That's what he is, he's a terrorist. But now, everybody goes, Daniel Ellsberg, yeah, a hero. Where's the question? Where's the conversation? This is over, this discussion's over, we know that. Well, how the fuck do you think history is going to view Edward Snowden? How do you think history is going to view Chelsea Manning? How do you think history is going to view Julian Assange? I mean, it's the same establishment tricks and the same establishment game played over and over and over. But in this case, President Obama apparently had the foresight and the ability to realize, I'm not going to win this battle in the long run. Like the lens of history, looking back at this, they're not going to say, oh, President Obama was so right to crack down brutally and viciously on that whistleblower who exposed U.S. war crimes. They're going to go, what the fuck were you doing, Mr. Liberal Hope and Change guy? That's the opposite of what you said you were in favor of. There are quotes from Obama on the campaign trail in 2008 talking about how he'll protect whistleblowers. And guess what? He's used the Espionage Act to prosecute whistleblowers more than all the other presidents combined. So he did the opposite of what he said he was going to do. This is a little taste of doing the right thing, finally. So I don't want to take credit away from him here. I want to give him a lot of credit, because we can't have it both ways. We can't say, oh, you're horrific for not releasing her, and then when he releases her, we go, that doesn't count or something. No, that counts. It counts, and I'm going to give you credit because I'm a fair-minded person. And there was a feeling on the left yesterday that we haven't felt in a very long time. A feeling of a genuine victory, a feeling of joy, a winning feeling. And that's something we need to have a lot more. And we need to fight on in order to get that feeling, because it's not just that he woke up and decided, I'm going to do the right thing. It was also that there was a bubbling up among progressive activists and liberal activists and a feeling for justice in the country, where a lot of people behind the scenes put in a lot of work to get Chelsea Manning out. And every single person, every single lawyer, every single activist, everybody who worked on her case and pushed the government and applied pressure to the government and sent letters to the government and said, release her, release her, release her, release her, release her. You all did a service to your country. And I certainly want to thank you. And I'm just so happy that Chelsea Manning is going to be out, because she never deserved to serve a day in there. And remember, she tried to commit suicide twice. And the response from the government after she did that was what? More torture. Now, you might say, well, Kyle, you're stretching it by using the word torture. Wrong. Not true at all. So, first of all, when she was first taken into custody, they had her on lockdown 23 out of 24 hours of the day. They had her with no pillow, no bed sheets. She wasn't even allowed to exercise. Think about that. So they treated her like a caged animal. And this is the kind of treatment that many people would say that constitutes torture in its own right. But then when you have somebody who admittedly has psychological issues and she tries to kill herself, and then you say, in response to that, we're going to punish you by doing solitary confinement, by doing more solitary confinement. No, it's not that she's the bad guy. Now you are. In fact, you've been all along with your treatment of her. And again, you're locking her up simply for exposing U.S. war crimes. By the way, how many of the people who did the murder, the terrorist attacks of innocent people in Iraq that video exposed, how many of them went to jail? 0. None of them arrested, none of them tried, none of them in jail. So you got cackling murderers still walking free, treated as heroes because they're veterans. And you have the actual hero who exposed the war crimes, who was locked up for years. But look, today is a day for celebration because Chelsea Manning's coming home. Should have never spent a day in there in the first place. And what Obama really should have done is pardon. Commutation means, okay, you're not going to have to serve the rest of your sentence. We're going to let you out. But it stays on your record that you were in there. Pardon is, it's going to be taken off your record, so it's like you did nothing. You just have that time lost in your life, obviously, which you'll never be able to get back. But at least your record and your name is totally cleared. He didn't. He did a commutation. Either way, look, it's a little taste of justice. And it's good that she's out, and I'm sure she's ecstatic. And again, the feeling yesterday on the left was just overwhelming joy. Now, as I tweeted yesterday, partially kidding, but partially serious, we got to try to prod Trump into releasing Edward Snowden and Julian Assange. I doubt he would do it with Edward Snowden because the thing is, the right now has this love affair with WikiLeaks because what WikiLeaks did with the DNC email hacks. So because of that leads me to believe, Sean Hannity, who now, really loves Julian Assange, hated him before, thought he should have been fucking assassinated with a drone. But now he loves Julian Assange. Maybe Hannity whispers in Trump's ear, like, Julian Assange, you could say, hey, you can You can leave the embassy that you've been cooped up in for years now. Go right ahead. We're not going to prosecute you. So we're going to let you walk free. He could do that with Julian Assange, which I actually think is possible because now, again, the Republican Party is loving WikiLeaks as a result of that. But not with Edward Snowden, I don't think. I don't think he's going to do it with Edward Snowden. In fact, he's appointing people around him who said Edward Snowden should be killed. So that's far from justice on the front of Edward Snowden. But we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, the partisan games here are crazy because the Democrats used to love WikiLeaks and love Chelsea Manning. Then when WikiLeaks started releasing information on how corrupt Hillary Clinton is, all of a sudden partisan Democrats hated WikiLeaks, and it's the reverse for Republicans. Republicans hated WikiLeaks when it was Chelsea Manning and revealing our war crimes. And then now that it's WikiLeaks hacking, or getting the information from the DNC emails and releasing them and going against Hillary, they love WikiLeaks. So there's a lot of partisan fuckery going on here. And I'm sure I don't need to say this because chances are if you're watching my show, many of you are already on this page. But don't be a partisan douche. Don't be a prick. Be consistent. So as I've said all along, I support WikiLeaks. I supported them when it was the information Chelsea Manning leaked. I supported them when it was the DNC email leaks. So because I actually believe in transparency for people in power. And when there's something that's newsworthy that we should know, I think it should be released, and this is kind of what journalism is supposed to be anyway. So you have CNN and MSNBC and Fox News. They're just stenographers to power. CNN releases both their lines, the Democrats and the Republicans. Parrot both their talking points. MSNBC, just the Democratic Party. Fox News, just the Republican Party. I don't want to hear any of your fucking talking points. I want to know the truth. I want to know facts. And a place like WikiLeaks is an outlet where you actually get them. So don't be an idiot. Be consistent in your standard. Don't flip based on which party is being exposed for their shittiness and their corruption. But yet again, full circle here. Very happy Chelsea Manning is going to get out of prison. And in an unironic way, I want to say, thank you, Obama.